Nothing, Everything, and You. Written by Mike J. Preble. Mathias and Grandpa Kuba were sitting in their usual chairs in the Cordova room at Grandpa Kuba's house. "What's the matter, Mathias?" asked Grandpa Kuba. "You look stuck." "I am stuck," said Mathias. He bounced his pencil on his notebook. "My brain isn't cooperating with me." "What do you want it to do?" asked Grandpa. "I need to write a story for school, but I can't think," said Mathias. "Maybe your creativity is only hiding," said Grandpa Kuba. "What do you mean?" asked Mathias. "Creativity is like a little deer in the forest," said Grandpa Kuba, "all happy and safe, nibbling twigs, drinking water from a pond. But did you ever see one jumping over fallen trees and leaping through meadows and across meandering streams?" "Maybe," said Mathias. "Well, a running deer, when it runs without doing much thinking," said Grandpa Kuba. "What's that got to do with writing?" asked Mathias. "That's how your brain works," said Grandpa Kuba. "You sneak up on it and say, 'Boo!' and then watch it run. And while it's running, you write as fast as you can and hope to keep up." "I don't get it," said Mathias. "Bring me that big bag from over there," said Grandpa Kuba. He pointed to a brown paper bag sitting underneath his desk. Mathias picked it up. "It's heavy," he said. Mathias brought it to his grandpa. "No peeking," said Grandpa Kuba. Grandpa Kuba shook the bag. "Are you ready?" "Ready for what?" asked Mathias. "Ready to say 'boo' to that hiding deer in your head," said Grandpa Kuba. Mathias tapped himself on top of his head. "I don't have any deers up here," he said. Grandpa Kuba looked over his reading glasses. "Tell me the 3 most important rules of writing." Capital letters and spelling?" said Mathias. "Nope." Stay on the line." "Not even close," said Grandpa Kuba. "Rule number 1, don't stop." "Like never?" asked Mathias. "Don't stop means don't stop writing until you're finished," said Grandpa Kuba. "It's like going for a walk. You start walking, and you keep on walking until you get back home." "Sometimes I have to stop to take a rock out of my shoe," said Mathias. "But you're not really stopping," said Grandpa Kuba. "Now, rule number 2, don't dwell." "Don't do well?" asked Mathias. "But I'm supposed to do well." "Not do well," said Grandpa Kuba. "The word is dwell. It means to think without actually doing anything. You have to keep telling yourself, 'Shoo, don't stop, don't think.'" "How can you write if you don't think?" asked Mathias. "That's the trick," said Grandpa Kuba. "Imagine that nervous little deer running up and down and over and across without thinking, just bound a leaping. You need to let your brain move by itself and write exactly what you see without thinking about it or judging it." "A judge decides what's right and wrong," said Mathias. "We learned that in social studies." "If you judge while you write, you'll spend all your time trying to decide right and wrong, or good or bad, and you won't get anywhere," said Grandpa Kuba. "That's called editing," said Mathias. "We learned that in language. That comes right after social studies." "Yes," said Grandpa. He opened the paper bag a little. "Close your eyes. Reach inside. Pull out the first thing that you touch," said Grandpa Kuba. Mathias felt something. "Take it," said Grandpa Kuba. "Set it right here on the table. You get exactly 1 minute to look, said Grandpa Kuba. What is it? Asked Mathias. No question, said Grandpa Kuba. But how can I? Asked Mathias. Shh, said Grandpa Kuba. He held his fingers to his lip. Mathias and Grandpa Kuba looked at the shiny object with all its whirling parts. The clock on the wall ticked away 1 second at a time. Ready? Said Grandpa. Are you going to write? Asked Mathias. Grandpa held up his pen and tapped his finger on his notepad. Get set. Write. Mathias started to write, very slowly. I'm sitting with Grandpa trying to write, but I can't. I'm supposed to write like a scared little deer, whatever that means. I think my little deer ran away. I don't even know what this thing is. It looks kind of shiny. Maybe it's made out of metal. It's sort of big and small, and it looks really weird. Mathias stopped writing to take a closer look. Don't stop, said Grandpa Kuba. But, said Mathias. Don't dwell, said Grandpa Kuba. Mathias started to erase something. Don't judge, said Grandpa Kuba. But I spelled weird wrong, said Mathias. Fix it later, said Grandpa Kuba. Right now, write. Mathias went back to his writing. Okay, so maybe it's a thing from a thing like a spaceship and that crashed in the back by the alley behind the garage, and 2 aliens fell out. They were on a mission to find a new home because their planet blew up when it crashed into an asteroid. They had to travel at hyperspeed to get here, and they were tired and lost. They almost crashed into the moon because they were arguing about which way to go. Gleep, said one of the space aliens. The captain of the spaceship, whose name was Oscar, said glorp, which means they should hide their ship in case some creature came along. They were hungry, so they looked around for something to eat. Then they tried to figure out how to fix their ship. Mathias filled up 6 pages. When he looked up, Grandpa Kuba was gone. Grandpa, where are you? He called. Right here, said Grandpa Kuba. He brought a tray with his famous triangle sandwiches and 2 glasses of juice. Writers need energy, he said. Wait till you hear my story, said Mathias. He picked up a sandwich and bit the tip off. I even have a title for it. Alien Space Dogs from the Planet Googleplex. Listen. Grandpa Kuba sat down. He closed his eyes. Oscar flapped his tail every time he heard his name. Mathias read the entire story. You were right, he said. Once I got the idea, I could barely keep up, just like that little deer running. You wrote a fine story, said Grandpa Kuba. Can we do it again? Asked Mathias. Later, said Grandpa Kuba. Right now, our brains need to rest. Why don't we play one of those games that you brought? Mathias got his suitcase from the bedroom. He opened it just a little. Without peeking, reach in and pull out the first thing you touch, he said. Grandpa Kuba laughed. What's so funny? Asked Mathias. Nothing, said Grandpa Kuba. Everything, and you. The end.